Hi, this is Lane 8492. This is my only true crime story video I'm doing today. This is another case in the state of Florida. This is the case of Florida death row inmate Dennis Michael Sochor. You see, Dennis Michael Sochor was convicted of essaying and murdering 18-year-old Patricia Gifford, who he met at a lounge in Broward County, Florida on New Year's Eve of 1981. Dennis Michael Sochor and his brother Gary Sochor met Patricia Gifford, the 18-year-old, at this lounge on New Year's Eve in Broward County, Florida. And Patricia Gifford went to the Banana Boat with a friend to celebrate this New Year's Eve. That was the name of the lounge, Banana Boat, where they met Dennis Sochor and his brother Gary Sochor. The friend was escorted to a car in the parking lot where she fell asleep. And Gifford left with the brothers in Dennis Sochor's work truck, intending to get breakfast that morning. Instead, Dennis Sochor stopped his truck in a secluded spot and took Patricia Gifford out of the vehicle. Apparently, Dennis Michael Sochor admitted that he had made a pass at Patricia Gifford and she rebuffed it. And that's what probably drove Dennis Michael Sochor into a rage, to where he apparently had essayed and then strangled her to death and would dispose of her body. And then sadly, to this day, 18-year-old Patricia Gifford's body is yet to be found. According to records, her body's never been found. However, Dennis Michael Sochor did exonerate his brother Gary Sochor, saying that his brother Gary Sochor was not there during the crime and that he acted alone. And apparently what went on the news was Patricia Gifford's photo, because apparently she was missing. She was reported missing by her family, who had been unable to find her. And it would be another 5 years before this crime was finally would be solved, when Dennis Michael Sochor was arrested in DeKalb County, Georgia. Prior to the murder, Dennis Michael Sochor had spent a year in jail and 5 years probation for the abduction and rape of an Oakland Park woman in 1980. He told the police he abandoned his employer's truck in Tampa before he went to New Orleans and then Louisiana and eventually to Atlanta, Georgia. And in 1987, Dennis Michael Sochor went on trial for the rape and murder of Patricia Gifford. He was tried even though no body was ever found of the victim. He was found guilty, and on November 2nd, 1987, Dennis Michael Sochor was sentenced to death. And now, as of yesterday or the day before, Governor Ron DeSantis has signed the warrant of execution for Dennis Michael Sochor, setting his execution for July 14th of this year. This will be the 5th executed out of Broward County. There have already been 4 executed in Florida out of Broward County, who were Jesse Joseph Tafaro in the electric chair in 1990, John Richard Merrick by lethal injection, Robert Laverne Henry by lethal injection, and Richard Andrew Knight by lethal injection. Of course, Richard Andrew Knight was executed this year. I did a true crime video on him. And Dennis Michael Sochor will be the 5th executed out of Broward County, the next county north of Miami. But there have been some cases where the person's been tried and convicted even though the body was never found when it came to the victim. And before Dennis Michael Sochor is executed, Florida will carry out the execution of Dusty Ray Spencer, and I did a true crime video on him. And Florida recently executed on June 2nd Andrew Richard Lukehart, who I did a true crime video on. This is Lane 8492. I have an associate's, bachelor's, and master's degree in criminal justice. Hope you let me know what you think of this video, and thanks.